This is Detroit, the Motor City. That name wasn't just a nickname, it was a declaration of American power, a symbol of progress that put the entire world on wheels. For decades, this city was the undisputed king, the heart of an empire built on steel, ingenuity, and the roar of an engine. Then, the story changed. The empire started to crumble. The world began telling a very different story about Detroit. A story of collapse, of rust, and of a paradise lost. It became a cautionary tale, a symbol of American decline. We've all seen the pictures and we've all heard that story, but what if that story, the one about the city that died, is a myth? What if the silence inside those empty factories wasn't an ending at all, but just the quiet before a revolution? Because while the world was busy writing Detroit's obituary, a multi-billion-dollar secret was taking root. A secret that's not just reviving the Motor City, but completely reinventing it. The story of what really happened to Detroit's auto industry isn't about the past, it's about the future that's being built right now. To really get the comeback, you first have to understand the collapse. Detroit's rise was just meteoric. In the early 20th century, guys like Henry Ford didn't just build cars, they built a new way of life. The assembly line, born right here, made the automobile affordable for everyone and created a massive, thriving middle class. By 1950, Detroit was the fourth biggest city in America, home to 1.85 million people, all living to the rhythm of the big three: Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. But the seeds of decline were being planted even at the city's peak. After the war, factories started moving out, first to the suburbs and then to states where they could pay people less. Then came the shocks. The 1970s oil crisis hit hard, sending people scrambling for smaller, more fuel-efficient cars. A market that competitors from Japan and Germany were ready to jump on. Detroit's giants were slow to change. Their huge V8 engines suddenly looked like dinosaurs. The city's social fabric was tearing apart too. Racial tensions, which boiled over in the 1967 riots, sped up the mass exodus of people to the suburbs. As the jobs left, the people left, and so did the tax money that paid for city services. The final crushing blow came in 2008. The global financial crisis pushed GM and Chrysler into bankruptcy, forcing a massive government bailout just to keep the American auto industry from flatlining completely. The result? A city that was hollowed out, a population that dropped by over 1 million people, and iconic places like the Packard plant, once a wonder of modern manufacturing, became a 3.5 million square foot tombstone for a dead era. This is the Detroit everyone thinks they know, the fallen giant, the city that time and progress left behind. But that's not the whole story. While everyone was staring at the ruins, something was happening inside the boardrooms and research labs of the Big Three. A realization. The next 100 years of the car wouldn't be one with gas and steel, but with batteries, silicon, and software. The future was going to be electric and autonomous. And the fight for that future? It was going to happen right here, in Detroit. This isn't just a comeback, it's a total reinvention. The Big Three have made a mind-blowing bet, pouring billions of dollars into transforming their old factories into hubs for the next generation of transportation. General Motors went first with a massive $2.2 billion investment to completely overhaul its old Detroit Hamtramck facility, renaming it Factory Zero. This wasn't just a simple update, it was a resurrection. Today, Factory Zero is the launch pad for GM's all-electric future, building the GMC Hummer EV, the electric Chevrolet Silverado, and the Cadillac Escalade IQ. Even the name is a mission statement, standing for zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. Ford answered with a move that was both powerfully symbolic and incredibly smart. In 2018, it bought the long-abandoned Michigan Central Station, that haunting symbol of Detroit's decay, and spent nearly $1 billion turning it into a 30-acre campus for mobility innovation. This place isn't a factory, it's a campus for the future, a spot where over 100 tech companies and startups are now working on self-driving cars, smart roads, and the software that will run tomorrow's world. Stellantis, Chrysler's parent company, is all in too, investing hundreds of millions to retool its own plants in Michigan. Its facility in Sterling Heights is now building the all-electric Ram 1500 REV, and its other factories are getting ready for electric Jeeps and new battery technologies. These aren't just one-off projects, the entire region is shifting. Michigan is now #1 in the US for EV supply chain factories and automotive R&D. It's a calculated plan to turn an old-school industry into a leader of what's called Industry 4.0, where everything is powered by AI, robots, and digital systems. So what does all this actually mean? It means the whole story has changed. It's no longer about what Detroit lost, but about what it's building. The contrast is just breathtaking. For decades, the giant abandoned Packard plant was the world symbol of a city in decay. Now, most of that ruin is gone, cleared to make way for new high-tech industry, with a few key parts of the old building saved to honor its history. Where assembly lines once cranked out gas guzzlers, automated lines now put together silent, powerful electric vehicles. Where thousands of workers once did the same repetitive task over and over, a whole new generation of talent is being brought in: software developers, battery chemists, and robotics engineers. In fact, Detroit is now the second metro area in the entire country for its concentration of engineering talent, right behind Silicon Valley. This whole transformation is creating a new identity. The Motor City is becoming the Mobility City. The Rust Belt is turning into the Robot Belt. This isn't about erasing Detroit's history, it's about using it as a foundation. That century of car knowledge, the supply chains that are already here, and the skilled workforce, that's the base that this new high-tech chapter is being built on. Tech hubs like Plug and Play have even set up shop in Detroit, specifically to connect Silicon Valley innovators with Detroit's manufacturing muscle. This story is still being written, and it's one of the biggest economic turnarounds happening in America today. What do you think this high-tech shift means for the future of American manufacturing? Is Detroit creating a blueprint for other old industrial cities to follow? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you're into stories of innovation and resilience, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what we dive into next. Detroit's journey has seen incredible highs and devastating lows. The city that built the American dream also became a symbol of how fragile that dream could be. But the story didn't end there. It pivoted. The challenges are still huge, and this transition is far from over. But that quiet revolution is now a full-throated roar. Billions in investment, a strategic shift to own the future of mobility, and turning the city's most famous ruins into symbols of innovation all point to one clear conclusion. What really happened to Detroit's auto industry? It fell, it fought, and now, it's leading again. Not by building the cars of the past, but by inventing how we will all move tomorrow. Detroit isn't just coming back, it's building the future, again.